everyone, my name is Lindsay Artman, and today I'm going to give you a short briefing on the leadership styles that were utilized in the movie Crimson Tide. Crimson Tide has two main characters, Captain Ramsey and Lieutenant Commander Hunter. Captain Ramsey was an authorian style leadership. He was more task focused. He was worried about the missile launch from the first order that he had received. He did not really too much care for the people in Russia that were going to be killed due to this bombing, and he really wasn't concerned on what kind of retaliation Russia would have brought upon the Americans if we would have launched that nuclear missile. Whereas Lieutenant Commander Hunter was more of a delegative style of leadership. He was dual focused. He wanted to carry out this order as long as that order was re-authenticated, and he was also worried about the people in Russia whose lives that we would be taking away from them, and the fact that they could come back and strike America and kill thousands of innocent lives here. Um, Both of these men were great, wonderful leaders who were very successful. However, they just had two different styles of leadership to accomplish the common goal that they shared. If I was to choose a leadership style that I would want to emulate, it would be probably delegative and also dual focused. I chose this style of leadership because when you are dealing with a nuclear missile, you're dealing with a weapon of power, a weapon that can kill thousands and thousands, millions of people within seconds. And dual focus is focusing on the people that are involved in this task as well as the task at hand. So that's why I chose dual focus, because I would want to focus on not only the people that could be affected by this nuclear missile, but also, is this the right decision to launch this missile? Is it re-authenticated? Is it real? How many people am I going to be harming? The community, everything. There's so many things that you have to pay attention to when you consider launching these mass weapons of destruction. So dual focus would have been the type of leadership that I would have wanted to emulate. If I was to get rid of a leadership style or recommend not a leadership style, it would have been participative. I chose this one because participative would have allowed my followers or the men on the USS Alabama to make decisions and make calls that could have not been the right call, or they could not have been, in the right training or authority to make that call. So participative probably would have been the one that I would have steered away from. However, I still want my men and women to participate in the orders that I give them, and that's why I would choose delegative to emulate, because when you're delegative, you're delegating these tasks. They're still performing these tasks. You're not necessarily telling them what to do, but you're coaching them, you're helping them, you're letting them participate, but in the end, as a leader, you still have the authority to make that final call or make that final order to launch that missile. Another reason why I wouldn't have wanted to do participative was because, or people focused, is because I want my men and women on that USS Alabama to feel like they have all the trust in me to make the right call, and that way they have the strength to carry out these horrific acts that are being asked of them and still feel like they're doing the right thing at the same time. And that's exactly what Captain Ramsey wanted to explain to Lieutenant Commander Hunter when they had their talk behind closed doors about not wanting to confront him and questioning him in front of the other men and women. And that's why he was more authoritarian style leadership, whereas Lieutenant Commander Hunter was delegative. As far as Kelly's two-dimensional model of follower behavior, I think that XO, which was Lieutenant Commander Hunter, and CO, Captain Ramsey, had both two different types of followers. I think that Lieutenant Commander Hunter was more of effective followers. They were high critical thinkers who were active, and he wanted to delegate, which was dual focus, and the followers, they wanted to help him, they wanted to do what was right, and that's why in the end they chose to follow him instead of Captain Ramsey. I think that Captain Ramsey had more of yes people. They were, okay, yes, sir, Captain, whatever you say, we're ready to go. Complete trust is what his follower and leadership was built off of. The yes people are low critical thinkers, but they're still active followers, and that's exactly the difference between them. The yes people who followed Captain Ramsey were just about doing what he asked when he asked it. They got it done, they were active about it, but they didn't question him. They knew that their trust in him was strong enough that that was the correct decision. That was the call that we were going to, in the order that we were going to follow. Whereas Lieutenant Commander Hunter had effective followers who thought about the situation, thought about their morals, thought about what he was saying and what he was disagreeing with as far as Captain Ramsey, and they were able to critically think on a level that, hey, I don't know if the captain's right this time. I think that maybe I'm going to go with the XO. And that is the difference between the followers. If I had to compare them both together, I'd probably say they had a mixture of survivors. The reason why I say this is just because the survivors is a little bit of mixture of everything, and I believe that's honestly what he had between Captain Ramsey and Lieutenant Commander Hunter, going back and forth, talking to each other on different levels, talking to each followers, kind of dividing them up and causing almost a little argument on the boat. You know, it brings them together as a survivor. You have many different followers, so it takes many different types of leadership styles. In the end, they were both able to come together and reach a mutual agreement, and neither one of them were necessarily right on their leadership styles. They both needed to come together, and I think that a mixture of authoritarian and delegative styles of leadership would have brought them the most success, which is exactly what happened in the end. And that's why we didn't launch that nuclear missile on Russia, and we were all saved, and America wasn't harmed in the end either. So I just wanted to give you this short briefing on my thoughts of the styles of leadership throughout the Crimson Tide movie, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening. You guys have a great night.